I'm Ben Heron. I am the owner of the Level Up Academy. We've helped over 1,300 men get in the best shape of their lives over the last 11 years from 26 different countries. I've been through my fair share of diets. I've been absolutely shredded, and then I've done some more, lifestyle diets where I've just wanted to be a bit tighter. And I'm going to share with you from my 11 years experience why you're not getting lean, some of the common sort of pitfalls that you can fall to, okay? So the first thing that I want to sort of ask you and for you to think about is there's two forms of action that you can be taking, right? This is the most important part. There's one thing you take from this page. I want you to think about this. Okay, I'm doing a big stretch, but I want you to think about this, right? Are you taking shotgun action or are you taking sniper action? So shotgun action, you might be like training a few times a week. You might be eating healthily. You might be, taking the odd progress photo here and there. You might be tracking your steps, but like a shotgun, it's very hard to hit the bullseye. It's very hard to, hit it bang on. And it's better than the couch. It's better than going backwards. You're in a healthy lifestyle sort of mode that we would call it, but it's not sniper action. Sniper action is where you know exactly what you're eating, exactly how many calories you're meant to eat, the exact targets for the day, the week, the month. You know your current barriers around stress eating, around eating on the go, around social occasions, around your relationship with food. You've got contingency plans so that you can monitor and work around those. And you've got clarity. You know exactly what you need to be doing. That's sniper action. And the problem is, yes, can shotgun action help you lose a little bit of body fat? Yes. But it's going to be very painful, to get there. It's kind of like when you have sniper action. I'm from Ireland, as you can tell. I'm currently in the Middle East. But it's like trying to get from Belfast to Dublin, okay? But without a sat-nav. You might get there, but it's going to be, you're going to have a lot longer time. Whereas if you took sniper action and you knew exactly what you needed to do and you had that clarity and that certainty that's getting you there, it'll give you confidence and you'll be able to get there faster, okay? So the first thing is, what form of action are you taking, okay? If you need to get a structure in place, get a structure in place. The next thing that you want to think about is actually with what you're eating, you want to know that it's actually getting you into a calorie deficit. Now, you might be, in a calorie deficit, like on your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then the weekend pints, the weekend, it sort of knocks you out of it. And then across the week, you're actually out of the deficit. And you maybe might be seeing some progress, but it's like snail rate progress. If you haven't lost, like we get guys in their first 90 days to lose 10% of their body weight as a minimum. Like if you're sort of sitting, say for example, you've only lost a stone in a year, we need to diagnose, we need to see what's going on, And like the thing is, you might be eating well, but not necessarily know exactly how much you need to eat. Or like you might have, when we help guys and we sort of help them sort of like, right, get really clear on what they're really eating, not what they think they're eating. Like one of the questions that we ask them is, what did you eat yesterday? And when you actually ask that question, it gets you to really think, what did I eat yesterday? And then you go for it from start to finish. And when you go through a process of sort of monitoring your food and assessing what you're eating and assessing the amounts and things, you'll notice that you pile up so many calories. You'll notice that you pile up so much more than what you think. There was actually a study by nutritionists that they got them to sort of, just eyeball and guesstimate their calories in their food. And they were up to 40% off. And that's their job, So it's like, it is mad. Like even myself, when I go back to dieting and stuff, like the one that always gets me is all of a sudden my bowl of oats starts creeping up. Okay, like my oats and my peanut butter and my whey, like what I think, oh, that's 100 grams of oats ends up being like 140. And I was like, that's roughly 30 grams of peanut butter. That's, and like before you know it, you're like 500 calories more than what you think in a bowl for breakfast. So imagine what you're doing with sauces, with milks, with meals out, with these occasions. And again, it's just so you can be aware of it. So like, you got to make sure that you're in the calorie deficit. The other thing is like, you got to make sure that, you know, like your actual activity is, you know, high, not just when you think about it, like, you know, when you have a high day and you hit 10K steps or whatnot, but across the week. I would actually encourage you not to look at daily amounts, but look at weekly amounts, and get into the habit of, you know, 70K, you know, 100K, okay? And really paying attention to that, because you might be thinking, right, okay, I'm hitting 10K steps, and then on Sunday you hit 2K because you're really tired and you're just chilling out. That's took your weekly average down massively. And that actually, like, I used to get hired into a lot of companies, and I used to, you know, deliver a lot of talks around high performance and well-being and things. And the thing that I would have shared quite a lot was, it's not enough just to go to the gym 3-4 times a week. The actual real, you know, highest amount of calories is burned through your actual daily activity. So that's why we want to track these steps and things like that, okay? The next thing that I want to share with you is really the bounce back ability, right? So I don't know if you've ever heard of the quote by, is it Muhammad Ali or is it Mike Tyson? You can let me know in the comments, is it Muhammad Ali or is it Mike Tyson? But everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And that's a reality. Like, you're a busy guy and you're probably gonna have, you know, spontaneous plans, you're gonna have holidays, you're gonna have work events, you're sometimes as well, you're human, you're not always gonna make the best decisions, etc. And you will like need, even though there's a day or 2 days or whatever, you know, on a out of the calorie deficit, you need to have that bounce back ability where you bounce back fast. It doesn't take you, you know, 3 Mondays later, you know, to get back in shape, they get back into a routine. Or it doesn't take you, like, there's a lot of guys, as you watch this is currently July, where they go on holiday and it's 5 months later they're, you know, back training. You know, we got to have that bounce back ability. It's like, we can have one per meal, but we can never have two. We can miss one session, but we can never miss two. We can have one poor night's sleep, but we can never have two. That trains that bounce back ability. And trust me, see, if you follow that 2-2-2 bounce back ability rule, you will be in the best shape of your life, without a doubt. And it's these simple principles that get you consistent. And then the consistency is the thing that drives you the results. So you gotta have that bounce back ability, okay? The next thing is, this is before these occasions. You gotta protect your progress, okay? You've gotta protect it, okay? And it has to mean something to you, do you know? Like, before you have, do you know, 2 weeks of nights and days when you're working, or you've got, like, for example, there was an individual that worked 21 days in the trot and we were still able to come out of the month like 2 kilos lighter, and that was phenomenal, you know. But like, before, he wouldn't have been able to, you know, protect his progress. And what we focused on going into that was like, right, okay, how can we ensure that you get some form of activity? How can we ensure that we get some micro sessions? So we understand that, like, we're not going to have time to go through traffic, get to the gym and come back. So how can we even do micro sort of body weight sessions to keep you moving forward? At the end of the day, all we need is a calorie deficit. And we kept him accountable, and he was able to protect his progress during that period and come out of it. So there are going to be periods where you need to protect your progress. If you know you're going out for a Saturday night and it's a heavy meal, or you know you're going for a stag do, like, it's actually protecting your progress beforehand. It's actually sort of like, right, reducing some of your calories, it's doing a bit of activity, adding a bit of extra cardio to your sessions and stuff, so that you can ensure that you've protected your progress. Okay, it's so key, you know, so that you can ensure that you're lean. The next thing that I would then say that's sort of preventing you from getting lean is like hitting the fuck it button. And the fuck it is like in that occasion where, do you know what you possibly thought, right, I'm gonna have a pizza, but then you all of a sudden say fuck it and you just go overboard. You know, we don't want that if you're trying to get lean. Now, lastly, to sort of help you is, you got to have some progress systems in place. We recommend taking daily weigh-ins. Now, you don't need to always do that. Like, you can take a weigh-in once a week on a Friday, but the daily weigh-ins gives you more data. And by having those daily weigh-ins, it allows for you to see like the average loss. So it's not just on a one-off reading. We also recommend taking photos. If you take a photo every single Friday morning, 3 weeks in a row, and you're not seeing changes, you will start to take action more. you will start to be focused more. Like, you cannot, like, trust me, go and take photos every Friday morning for the next 3 weeks, and you will see progress. You know, more photos will be more progress, without a doubt. Your level of focus changes. You've all of a sudden got a lot more intentionality in your sessions. You start to implement harder, okay? And then obviously, like, you want to sit down and sort of just analyze, right, how am I feeling? You know, because, like, yes, I'm saying about getting lean and stuff. You're probably watching this video because you're wanting to take it up a gear, but I also don't want you losing too much weight, okay? So it's important to, like, roughly stay under that sort of 1% of body weight per week. And then also as well, you know, like, if you are noticing severe signs of, like, hunger, etc., that you actually push your calories up. And this is where we help a lot of our guys. Sometimes, like, we have to tell people, you know, they hit the sweet spot. We want that Goldilocks zone where it's not a case of you're not seeing, you're making snail rate progress. Maybe, like I said, you know, you're losing a stone a year. You're not losing it a lot at a good rate, but then at the same time too, you're not losing it too fast, where you end up resenting it, you end up missing out, you end up losing size, you end up affecting your health. It's important to have that Goldilocks zone, okay? So go and get after it. Let me know what was useful for you, and like, subscribe, do all those good things, and yeah, let's get in the best shape of your life, bro.